Welcome, Ernie Beltz.
Hello, Ernie. You have 1 minute to tell why you're running for office and what motivated you.
Why I'm running and what motivated me is several things. I'm young, but I'm about to be 30, and in the last 30 years, there's been a lot of things that have fed me up. And most last was the federal government. What the government's doing to our economy, what the federal government is doing in our households, what the federal government is doing to so many different things. For me, I served in the military. I was in the Marine Corps, joined right after September 11th, served for 4 years. I owned a small business, and I worked for the U.S. Department of Treasury managing all their veteran employment programs. So I know what it's like to be in the military. I understand why we need a strong military. I know why government needs to be out of the way of small business so business can grow. I've worked for the government, and I've seen overlapping spending and wasteful spending all over the place. And I just think it's time for a new voice and a new generation in Washington to help get our country back on track. The top 3 issues for me, to sum it up, is to get our country back on track. And that starts with our economy. That starts with fixing our tax system so it's fair, so we can raise the revenues that we need, but we don't spend too much. I've worked for the federal government. I've seen waste, which is why I quit my job to run. There's lots that we need to do. We need to cut spending in government. We need to get rid of the overlapping programs in government. We need to support small business. We need to fix the tax system, get rid of regulations that hurt small businesses so we can create jobs and stop shutting doors. Military and veterans are extremely important to me. I founded a nonprofit in 2009 called the Warrior Transition Project to fill the gaps between what nonprofits and government are already doing. One of those is homelessness. The metro areas in Texas have extremely high homelessness rates of veterans, and we need to fix that. So our nonprofit's going to work on that. Something else that I saw working with veterans in the federal government is I would travel the country and talk to veterans and their families about what government in DC was saying they were doing for them, and then I'd hear from them and find out what wasn't being done. There are lots of gaps in service for these men and women who have literally sacrificed pieces of themselves for us to do what we're doing today, to be free and safe. We have a commitment to those who have served and their families to support them when they come home. So my 3 issues, that's what I would do. My 3 issues are a strong military taking care of our veterans and their families, encouraging business growth through tax reform and regulatory reduction, and cutting spending, overlapping programs, and waste all across our government. Everything that we do as elected leaders, as public servants in the federal government, is you live up to the oath of office. I've taken the oath of office twice, when I enlisted in the Marine Corps and when I became a federal employee. And that oath, you say that you will support, defend, and uphold the Constitution of the United States. The powers delegated to the federal government from the states should be just that. The federal government overreaches far too often into the state's business and into local business. The government that's closest to the people can do the best work. We all know that. The federal government does need to get out of the way. Our legislators need to stop the bickering and have real dialogue about the issues that are the responsibility of our federal government, and not just pass legislation because it sounds good, but we only follow the Constitution. We only pass legislation that is constitutional. Government overreach. The government is mandating too many things and regulating too many things and forcing too many things upon all of us. I've grown up in a family of small business owners. I've owned a business myself. Government regulations and mandates aren't what we need. We need to repeal Obamacare. There's a lot that needs to be done for healthcare. I acknowledge that. But we need to work with those experts in the healthcare community. I've been meeting with hospital executives from across the district to learn what's happening now, what needs to be done, effective things, so the government can get out of the way and the free market can do what it does best, so that we can find health insurance, buy it from across state lines. Lots needs to be done, starting with the repeal of Obamacare, and then we can take the right steps to empower the people of our country to select the health coverage and choose the doctors that they want. Our country is a great country, and we do a lot of things around the world. Serving in the military, I was stationed in Japan, I spent some time in Thailand, and then I was stationed here in the US. I've traveled abroad. I've been to Italy, I've been to Greece, I've been to China, and several other places. And something that traveling the world and meeting people of other backgrounds, of other cultures, and of other places, I think it makes you a better person in terms of being able to help affect foreign policy in our country. You have to understand other people to be able to interact with them. And I'm very proud of the number of places that I've been able to visit and experience, and the people and the cultures, because I want to be involved in that, because we're a great country. And we do a lot of great things for people around the world. But we have to understand those people along the way. Me personally, I'm a Catholic. I believe life begins at conception. I don't personally agree with abortion. But I'm going to go back to where I talk about government overstep. I think that's a state issue. It's between the people of our community and their faith. I know my faith and what I believe, and I believe it rests with the people in the state. As I said in my opening, I'm running to make a difference. What we need now is public service, not politics. President Ronald Reagan said that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction, and that we have to fight for it to preserve it and pass it on to future generations. I don't have kids yet, but when I do and I have grandkids, I don't want to be telling them what our country used to be like. I think it's time for my generation to stand up and have a voice in our government, make a difference, get our country back on track. There's lots that needs to be done. But first, it's a change. I truly believe that. And I'll leave you with this. I've said it the entire time. Pick a public servant. You've got lots of great candidates. Lots of great candidates. We need public service, not politics. And in my opinion, it's time for my generation to step up and lead. Thank you for your support and for your vote.